There is a constant debate between the use of vitamins and supplements. So in this video, we're going to be talking about heart vitamins and supplements revealed. Coming right up. So hey y'all, Aman here, and you're watching Heart Limits, channel that talks about everything heart related. Now, since the beginning of time, well, to be honest, not really that far into the beginning, but more or less in the early 90s, there was actually some research that was done on vitamins. And it was mainly researched on because of certain deficiencies that people have. And by having it in a form that people can consume or a form that people can technically digest. So what they did was they tried to create vitamins, in a form like a tablet or a capsule or whatever, so it can easily be consumed by people who are either allergic or who need this type of vitamin, so that you could say that person is healthy and well balanced. So you could say balanced in some way. So anyway, the thing is, over the years, with all these research on vitamins and supplements, without a doubt, we are all in some way confused with what actually works. In one paper, it would say this thing works. In another paper, it would say it totally doesn't work. Some people will say, well, this research was done in a foreign land where there is some factors which are not taken into consideration in comparison to another land. So because of where the research is done, when it was done, how big the sample size was, there are just too many variables that we are placed in a situation where we don't really know what is what. What is real, what is not, what works, what doesn't work. So let's try to break this down. Rather, I will try to break it down to you into 4 things so that you can basically figure out where we are right now. Alright, so let's get into this. Number 1, most vitamins and supplements actually don't do much for heart health. And when we come into supplements, to be honest, there actually isn't much research that has gone to it, because the cost of research and development and testing is so pricey that most of the time there actually isn't any scientific proof that it actually works. So keep that in mind. That's number 1. Number 2, actually not all vitamins and supplements are as safe to take as we think. It could actually cause some harm to a person depending on a couple of variables that's pretty hard to still identify, to be honest. So there are some suggestions that if you take vitamin E, you could actually suffer hemorrhagic strokes and heart failure. And research, some recent studies as well have shown that if you take calcium together with vitamin D, could actually increase your chances of stroke. But to be honest, there's also another paper that states that even just taking vitamin D alone can raise your chances of stroke. So in the end, taking these types of things, there is some form of risk factor involved. And keep in mind, it's still quite hard to figure out which one is actually quite harmful and which is not, right? So that's number 2. Number 3 is actually about the 2 kings when it comes to heart health. And that is omega-3 fatty acids and folic acid. It's ironic when I think about it, since it's both types of acid. Anyway, so omega-3 fatty acids has been proven to, in some way, lower your chances of coronary complications. And folic acid has also proven that it actually lowers stroke. But there is actually something that I want to specify with these 2 things. So first of all, let's start with omega-3 fatty acids. So there has been a couple of research that has been done with it, but in reality, it's actually not as good as we think. It's rather quite disappointing. Thing is, the good results usually only come from its purified form. And if I remember correctly, it was called Vascepa or something. And with this particular form, it usually really works well. Only if the person has some form of deficiency or has some form of heart problem. But the thing is, for you to get access of this purified form, you actually need a proper prescription for it. So keep in mind, those that you just buy without prescription actually don't work as one would hope it to work as well. I think I said it a bit weird in that phrase, and whatever. So now let's go to folic acid, the other king, the other acid. So now this one has been proven to actually lower stroke, but the research was actually done in China. Now, I'm not saying that if a research is done in China, it's bad. That's totally wrong. That's not the case. But the thing is, in China, people there have a deficiency of folic acid. So as a result, by taking this, actually helps them lower their chances of having stroke because it fills in that deficiency. So of course, the research there is pretty good. So if you think about it that way, if you don't have a deficiency, it technically might not really help and work. But if you do have that deficiency, it would work. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, I just realized I've just been doing a 360 spin on my chair. I think you can see it in the background and everything. Anyway, so number 4, it's actually safer to take vitamins not in isolation, or so to say in the form of a food, than it is to take it in isolation, which is in a form of a vitamin and a supplement. And that's mainly because by taking them in isolation actually has proven that there are some potential risks with it being tampered with in some way. And in reality, it's true, if you just take the proper foods, have a balanced diet, it works like wonders. But the thing is, and the truth is, not everyone can actually just eat everything and anything they want because of either financial problems, logistical problems, it's not accessible, maybe it's hard to find salmon where you are, or maybe you just have an allergy and you just cannot take certain foods. Let's say for instance you are lactose intolerant or something. So vitamins and supplements, serves a purpose in some way. And it mainly is highlighted with people who have these deficiencies or who have these allergies. Thing is, nowadays, people have this mindset that if you take vitamins, is actually an easy way to replace eating healthy. But the truth is, it's not really an alternative to foods or having a balanced diet. So keep that in mind, alright? So, once again, Aman here, and you're watching Heart Limits. Now keep in mind, vitamins and supplements do work, but it depends on a case-to-case basis. Be aware that it can be safe, and it's also still something that's constantly being researched on. So keep in mind, having a balanced diet is still the best approach. Alright? So, once again, see ya.